Hey everyone, my name is Wedge, and this is day 2 of Journey into Nyx Spoilers. Let's dive right in. The first card we're looking at today is Godsend, 1 colorless and 2 white for a legendary equipment. First, equipped creature gets +3/+3. Okay, whenever the equipped creature blocks or becomes blocked by one or more creatures, you may exile one of those creatures. Alright, seems pretty great. Opponents can't cast cards with the same name as the cards exiled with Godsend. This card is ridiculous. It gives 2 devotion a white, equips for a reasonable price, and makes whatever it's equipped to pretty big. Not to mention, Nevermore was always a hilarious card. This is board advantage like no other card right now. If you can get this in play and have it stick, you might just win right there. Assume for a second this is standard playable. Think about how many decks run playsets to their core creatures. Yeah, pretty much all of them. I have no idea where standard's going as of right now, but if white decks that run creatures have anything to say about it, Godsend will be at the top of the list for consideration. Might not be a staple, but people are going to talk about this card for a while. Bringer Charioteers, the white intro deck rare, is 2 colorless and 2 white for a 2/4 human soldier with flying and lifelink. Whenever you cast a spell that targets it, put a 1/1 counter on it. This is super bomby and limited. Great for a draft or seal deck. I'd like it to see standard play, but Seraph of Dawn didn't see play, and the heroic trigger doesn't make this card unbeatable. In any case, good for limited, and it's a soldier, which commander players should love. Okay guys, I need a second to prepare for this. Okay. Dictate of Kruphix is 1 colorless and 2 blue for an enchantment with flash. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. What? Okay. First, it has flash. It has flash. This is like Howling Mine and Kamiya the Crescent Moon mixed with everything I've ever dreamed about. Finally, you get the card advantage before your opponent. So good. This is obviously playable in Commander, but this could see play in competitive formats. Don't underestimate this card. Also, for the record, I'd like to bring your attention to the flavor text. Knowledge is cruel. It will break your heart and test your allegiances. Are you certain you want this curse? Oh, this card is so awesome! Our blue intro rare Scourge of Fleets is a 7-mana 6/6 Kraken. When it enters the battlefield, return each creature your opponents control with toughness X or less to their hands, where X is the number of islands you control. I don't know how to feel about this card. I won't first pick this in draft, but that doesn't mean I won't play it. The ability is insanely powerful if you can pull it off. It'll be like an overloaded Cyclonic Rift, except you get a creature out of it. For standard, 7 mana is just too much, unfortunately. Next up is Doomwake Giant, the black intro deck rare. 5 mana for a 4/6 enchantment creature giant with Constellation. When the giant or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. I really like this card. He's a decently sized body. He synergizes well with cards like Blightcaster, which is pretty cool. I need to see what enchantments will come out of this set to support this guy. Based on that, he could head up a hilarious anti-creature deck. Our next card is Dictate of Not Kruphix! Dictate of the Twin Gods is 3 colorless and 2 red for an enchantment with flash. Copycat. If a source would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage to that permanent or player instead. First thing I noticed, that art is awesome. Mogis versus Iroas? That's like really metal. Second, flash makes this thing hilarious and limited in Commander. I think it's too expensive for standard, but Commander players are going to have a field day with this at instant speed. Because dragons, we have the red intro deck rare Spawn of Thraxus. 7 mana for a 5/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of mountains you control. This is a gigantic fireball attached to a huge flyer. Great for limited. Yes, it's 7 mana. That is expensive for a red deck, but if you get to play him, you could just win outright on the enter the battlefield trigger. The guy isn't terrible. Plus, the art is pretty sweet. On to the big guy. Keranos, God of Storms, is 3 colorless, 1 blue, and 1 red for a 6/5 legendary enchantment creature god with indestructible. As always, he shares the same devotion mechanic as the other minor gods. His ability is crazy, okay? Reveal the first card you draw on each of your turns. If it's a land card, you draw another card. If it's a non-land card, you deal 3 damage to target creature or player. This is crazy awesome. Keranos is absolutely nutty. Let me start off by saying this. Keranos is a control card. I know some of you blue-red aggro players aren't going to like this, but he's designed to be a finisher in white-blue-red control deck. He just is. Here's how you know. First, his ability has nothing to do with creatures. He works perfectly fine on his own. As a matter of fact, it might be better keeping creature off of his type line so he can't be chained to the rocks. Second, he costs 5 mana. Most aggressive blue-red decks should be close to winning the game by then, and this card would be taking the spot of a lightning strike or something that deals damage instantly. Point is, Keranos gets to be the new star in the white-blue-red control deck I'll surely be building now. The last card we're going to look at today is Underworld Coinsmith. 1 white and 1 black gets you a 2/2 enchantment creature human cleric. Whenever the Coinsmith or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. You can also pay 1 white, 1 black, and 1 life to have each opponent lose 1 life. I really like this card. I've always wanted a black-white humans, aggro, mid-range, extort variation to be a thing. There are already some pretty cool white and black enchantments that could go in an aggressive or mid-range deck that could utilize a card like Underworld Coinsmith. I'm not saying to expect a black-white deck built around this to take over the format, but it is a pretty cool card overall. I'm excited to see what other black-white cards we get from the set. Another day of spoilers down. We got the rest of the intro deck rares, some awesome flavor, and Dictate of Kruphix, which is naturally fighting the Starfish as my favorite card released so far. And of course, Keranos is on the scene, and frankly as good as we could reasonably have hoped for. This is a tough one. Which cards did you guys like or dislike? I don't know about you, but I'm much more impressed with the intro deck rares this time around than in Born of the Gods. Remember, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable journey into Nyx spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.